here we want to talk about one of our clients, which is an old friend, a dear friend. Matter of fact, they're doing your wedding.
Yeah.
Father Elias Stevens, or Vogue, who was a year behind me at Auburn. He was a linebacker. I was at Auburn on baseball scholarship, and he was a year behind. So we hit it off right away when he came to our Greek Orthodox Church to be the priest. And we love his whole family. We think of them as some of our dearest friends. But they have a restaurant, Lloyd's, in Birmingham. And it's been a tradition since 1937. And he had wonderful parents that passed away recently. And so Father Elias is having to take over and continue the restaurant. And his father Eli ran it for, I don't know, 50 years or something crazy
I don't know
like
either.
that, forever. So he was a mainstay. You would see him when you came in. They have people that have been coming there since forever, etc.
Yeah.
But they need to refresh the brand a little bit, update a little bit, and they've asked us to help with it. And right now what our goal is to make the refresh be as economical as possible so that they can grow with the business. As more people come to the restaurant, then as they get more business, we can expand the brand. But for now, we want to start off small. So the first thing is to look at this. How do we rebrand them, and how do we look and see how we're going to advertise them? So we're looking at the marketing aspect of it, and then how are we going to approach the actual buys of the advertising. And so now in today's world, digitally is a way for us to pinpoint exactly who we want to advertise to. We're fortunate in that we can buy it at reasonable prices, and we can extend that to them. So what we're going to do is, and what we're doing, we're redoing their menu.
Yep.
And we are creating a little ad that can be used on social media. It can be used digitally as pre-roll for YouTube, OTT, on various channels. And so I think that, with their limited budget, is going to let them have the greatest impact. So brand-wise, in my mind, and discussing it with you, we want it to become better as it goes, but we don't want to offend and change things too drastically to offend current customers.
Sure.
Because some of these people have been coming in for 50 years.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah, you don't want them to walk into the restaurant and have it be something they're not used to.
Right. And so you also have the challenge of food costs and this and that, where prices have to go up, etc. But you want to provide the same great service, same great food, so that doesn't hurt as bad. And this is one of those situations where the menu prices need to change, etc. So what we're thinking is, how do we soften the blow of all of this and the change? So within mind, you want to keep the current customers. You want to bring back some of the old customers that aren't coming anymore, and you want new customers. So ultimately, we want to do for them a campaign that we've been working on for over a year that we feel is going to be a blockbuster for them. But we can't just jump right to that. So this is more of a transitional campaign. So in this campaign, we took footage that we were able to record a couple of years ago of Father Elias's father, Eli, talking about having bought the restaurant and served there, etc. And we were able to create a digital ad for that. And that's what we're going to use to approach that. And then we were able to incorporate this very friendly, welcoming drawing that you did of the father that we were able to place on the menu. He had the same place that he sat all the time. And so it's kind of like, hey, how you doing, this and that. And hopefully we've captured that feeling of warmth and friendliness and welcoming. So what I want to do is talk about the menu first and the challenges, and what you had to go through
Okay.
designing it, and then we'll discuss a little bit about the digital ad.
Okay. I did a sketch from kind of based on stuff we shot, where he was actually sitting at his normal table, but a sketch kind of him, very lightly rendered with just a little bit of shading. You know, looks nice and friendly.
Oh yeah, wonderful.
Nothing too harsh or dark, just really light strokes.
Well, I felt you did a brilliant job of, if you pull back out for a second, I thought that sketch is so warm and friendly, rather than going with a pure black on the Lloyd's restaurant, which it's a very simple logo, it's their trademark. It's the roof line with Lloyd's restaurant since 1937, but you almost gave it almost a pencil graphite coloring
Sure.
rather than pure black, and it has a texture to it. I thought that tied the two together brilliantly.
Right. And then we also included a quote that he actually said in the upcoming digital ad about how Lloyd's is a place where you see good folks from everywhere, country folks, city folks. They're all in there. Like, that's what Lloyd's is about. So we wanted to also push that kind of idea that this is a place that everybody can come and eat good food and have good service.
So he's touching on the fact that Lloyd's food was so good and the prices and stuff were so good that it didn't matter if you were rich or poor.
Right.
You were country or city.
Yeah, everybody
came there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So going into the interior of the menu and the back of the menu, so this is going to be 11 by 17 piece of paper, printed front and back, folded in half. So these two interior pages, the challenge was there was a lot of content put on them. So you had their favorites, their seafood, and then stuff that was from the grill or from the pit that they all wanted on one page. And then on the other side of the interior spread, they wanted farmhouse vegetables, sandwiches, side orders, and salads. So the challenge definitely was finding a way to get all that together in single pages.
In the order they wanted. Because
Yes.
originally you designed it in a way that was the most pleasing design-wise to fit and look best design-wise, but the client needed certain things in a certain order.
Right. Yeah. Originally, the like the vegetables and the sides and the salads were all on the back, with the desserts and drinks. But they needed those to be on the interior pages too. So I had to kind of rework how we had set things up, resize some stuff, and kind of make it all fit together. But the advantage of having all that was we went from having the kids menu be a separate cutout sheet that was included with the menu to we were able to put the kids menu on the back, and bring that photo of Eli back. So
And somebody was saying that they're going to include crayons
yes,
so that they can
Color
color
in the kids menu.
Eli on the
Right.
back and have fun with that. So that's wonderful.
yeah. So I think it turned out decent. The other thing was we found new typefaces to use. This bolder one is Plume AD or Plume Odd. I don't know how you say it.
Right.
And so I used that for the headlines or for the section headings. So beverages, kids menu, sandwiches, etc. And then the individual items, I didn't fully capitalize, but I capitalized the first letter of each word. So catfish fillet, pork barbecue, grilled cheese, all that kind of stuff, just to make the items themselves, the plates themselves stand out.
Right.
And then for the descriptions about those plates, you know, the catfish fillet is a sandwich with tartar, shredded slaw, and onion. Okay. I used Rockwell at a smaller point size, and it's not as bold of a typeface, so it's able to kind of be thrown in there, and you don't focus too much on it, but it's there, it's legible.
Nice.
Just kind of to give some differentiation, because the previous menu I think they had was kind of all the same typeface, all the
Right.
same weight, so there's not as much visual hierarchy differentiating what is the name of the plate and what is the description of the plate.
Well,
So I tried to break that info up also.
And a lot of people don't realize design is not height and width. There's also depth to design.
Right.
So just like with the painting, I mean, you're able to do the height, the width of stuff, but as you make it smaller and less pronounced, it pushes it to the background.
Yeah.
So you
and
actually
less
have
bold.
depth.
Right, yeah. I mean, obviously we want the price and the name of the dish itself to stand out more. So we made it bolder, a couple points larger, although not too much larger. I think it was a 10 and the descriptions were like an 8. Right. So it's not a terrible difference, but it's enough of a difference that when you see it and one is bold and one isn't, there is a visual hierarchy there where you say, okay, this is the important information. Grilled cheese, it's $3.50.
Right.
And the supplemental information, not so important, is the grilled cheese comes with sliced American on white bread.
We've been through the process and we feel like they're good with this, and this is what we're going to go with, it looks like, so that's fantastic. All right, let me talk a little bit about the little ad we did. So on the ad we did, I will stop it and play it for a second.
I tell you, if you want to hear a good story about what type of place Lloyd's is a place, if you're looking out in the dining room and you see John Harvard used to come in here, he sat at that table there. He was by himself and he was eating. And then right next to him was a guy wearing overalls from Farmer Brown. You see good old country folks and you see good city folks. You just see all kind of people in here. If you want to know the truth, that's what Lloyd is about.
All right, so what we're going for here is I was able to spend a couple of hours with Mr. Stevens, and we just recorded our conversation, and from that I was able to take pieces and parse together this idea. And I think this idea works well because it's him saying how appreciative and thankful he was as much for the farmer as he was John Harvard. Now, we may not know who John Harvard is down here, although I do. People in Birmingham know exactly who he is, and he was a very accomplished human being in the Birmingham area. And so he would come in and eat, and no telling who sat right beside him. And everybody got along. It was just a nice, welcoming, wonderful place with great food. I mean, here's the thing that people in Birmingham have forgotten. This place used to be one of the only places on 280. Now you've got hundreds of places on 280. And so people go and have tried the other places. But I guarantee you go back to Lloyd's and the food's better, it's less expensive, and it's more friendly. But people have forgotten because they've gone to all these other places. But as we get the word back out, we're going to draw those people back in, and their restaurant's just going to explode and be wonderful. So the point is that we're paying homage to his father, Lewis's father, who passed away, and who was heavily involved in the restaurant. And we hope that this reminds folks that used to go there that they need to go back. But being a Birmingham tradition since 1937, for anybody that's never been there, they're like, whoa, what's going on here? I didn't realize that place is there. Right. We attract new customers. And then the current customers, the nice things that he's saying about them helps keep them coming. So we're trying to hold on to customers, bring back old customers, and bring in new customers. And we think we'll accomplish it with this.